woke up at 6:55. I had a plan to wake up at 5 o'clock, 5 a.m. I wanted to go to the gym. I wanted to get all this stuff done and just start the week off strong. I did not. I slept in. I hit snooze. I succumbed to just basically being a little bitch is what it was, right? And I was tired. I was mentally tired. I was physically tired. I didn't feel like working out. I didn't feel like working. I didn't feel like doing the things that I needed to do in order to hit the goals that I have right here on my wall. Okay. The $1 million per month, the house, the jewelry, the taking care of people, the other businesses, the traveling the world, the other trips, the extra house. I didn't have the energy to do that on Monday, guys. I did not. It's the last thing I felt like doing. I felt like laying back in my bed right here. By the way, this is my office, also my master bedroom. I felt like going and getting back in bed, watching a little Netflix and just taking it easy. And I almost convinced myself to do it because I'm like, look, dude, I've earned the right to do this. I've earned the right to do this. I've escaped the rat race. I didn't. I sat there and I had this little moment of like, man, this is tiring. I'm tired. And I had all these excuses. And finally I was like, dude, you're being a little bitch, dude. You're being like all the other people that are out there saying that it doesn't work for them. Okay. And guess what I did? I did the things that I needed to do in order to get to the goal. I know where I want to go. I know that I want to get to $1 million a month. Okay. I have the map. I know exactly what I need to do in each and every single month. I know exactly what actions. I know how much content I need to create. I know how many sales we need to make. I know how many people I need to attract. I know how many outreaches we need to do. I know every single detail of how I'm going to get there. And now all that is left is I have to execute on it. I have to do the things that need to be done. Here's the key: when they need to be done, even when I feel like I did on Monday, guys. It was a very long, very, very long day. And Monday is my toughest day. By the way, guys, we were at 27 people and we are 29. We dropped down to 27. If we don't get to 30, I'm out. Y'all better start tagging. I still did the things that needed to be done. Because I did the things that needed to be done, I am still on track, even though I did not feel like it. Okay. That's just the reality. And the difference between me and a lot of you guys is that I still do what needs to be done, even when I feel like shit, even when I don't have energy, even when it's not the greatest day for me, even when I feel like I just want to sleep all day. Okay. And some of you guys, you wake up and you don't feel 100% and you're just packing it in for the week, dude. Right? That's really what it comes down to. I know it sounds super simple. I know it sounds, it's like, Nick, you said this last week and the week before, but guys, that's all that it is. You know what you want to hit. You know the map to get there. If you don't know those two things, you didn't start the right way anyway. But if you know those two things, all you have to do is do the things that you have on the map and you're going to hit your goal. That's it. Very simple. And you just do it regardless of how you feel. That's the whole deal. Okay. It's frustrating for somebody like me. That guys, I sit and I get messages every day. I get texts every day. I get, I get hit up it seems like all day long with another sob story. My wife left me. My business partner screwed me. What are some of the other ones I've gotten recently? Medical issues, you name it. It's hard for me to feel bad. Okay. It's hard for me to feel bad. Do what needs to be done when it needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. What's going on, Marie? How are you? We're at 29. Let's start praying for everybody that we're going to get to 30. Otherwise, they're going to miss out on this. Oh, we hit it. Son of a gun. Okay. Boom. Let's run it. They want to hear you. How are you?
Amazing.
I love it. I tell everybody really quick. I'm going to get into this real quick because it's going to be a good one. Tell everyone where you're at, Marie.
I'm in Playa del Carmen in Mexico, the Mexican Caribbean.
It's amazing. And for those of you that are like, where the hell is that? That's close to Cancun. ish.
Yeah, it's just south of Cancun, between Cancun and Tulum.
Yes. I didn't know it was pronounced playa until recently. I used to call it playa. That's how much I've traveled. Yeah, I grew up in a village, you know. Okay, I'm really excited about this call today. I know that I think you did an interview with Sean a while back, but the reason I'm excited about this is because when you came into our program, I was the one that did your call, and so I know the story, and I know the background and everything else, but I want to kind of go over a little bit of that today. For a couple different reasons. So I've actually written down some questions that I want to make sure I don't forget to ask you. So give me 1 second here. Okay. And Marie, how's my audio? Is it okay?
Yeah, it's good. I hear you well.
Okay. So this is what I'm so excited for about this call is so many of us, and I know you'd agree with this, Marie, is like when we start in this business, we have these different things that we want. We're like, oh, I wanted with this business, I want to be able to, pay for my friend's education that lives in whatever country. I want to be able to take care of my parents. I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to buy my dad a Rolex. I want to be able to, take my in-laws on a trip. But so many of us, one of the common things that we hear is, I want to be able to live the laptop lifestyle. And even if it's not full-time, all year round, and maybe I don't even do it immediately, maybe I don't do it at all, but I want to have the option to be able to live the laptop lifestyle. Is such an intriguing thing for so many of us, including me in 2016, when I was doing door-to-door sales still, and I'm sitting there going, dude, there's actually people making money online. And I remember thinking, how cool would it be if I could wake up, put on a robe, walk to my office, and literally make money from my office chair? It seemed just mind-bending and intriguing, but almost kind of like a pipe dream. And so here we are 7-ish years later. When I'm in the US, you guys see me, I wake up and put on the robe. I'm speaking into existence. And here I am living in West Africa by choice, not because my job is here, but because I want to be here. You are living in Mexico because you want to, living the laptop lifestyle. It's incredible. And I think that what I want people that are listening to this to understand is that it actually is possible, because I thought this was just a pipe dream and everyone was saying that it was possible, but it really wasn't. So I'm excited specifically for you to come on because you're doing it. So let's get into that a little bit. Is how is it living the laptop lifestyle? Because I know sometimes you're in Utah, sometimes you're in Mexico, you move a bit. How is it living the laptop lifestyle?
I mean, it's my dream life. I've always loved traveling. I love having new experiences, experiencing different cultures. I've lived in many, many countries. And the funny thing is I actually had a taste of, the laptop lifestyle back in 2004, 2005. I was working at a corporate job and they opened up telecommuting. So not quite the same, but still I was able to work in my PJs all day if I wanted to. So I kind of think that was my first taste, of not having to be in an office, getting outside that normal lifestyle we all think about. But yeah, it's just been amazing, sorry, I think I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, it totally does. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about freedom, right? It's like, we all just want to, it's for some of you listening, you're like, I don't care about traveling. I'm good where I'm at. It's like, that's great, but you want to have the option. Nobody wants to feel stuck. Nobody wants to feel like they can't move, that they can't travel. And so anyway, more than anything, I just want you to create some social proof here that it is possible. It is amazing. It does have its challenges, of course, making sure your internet's good and making sure you're in a spot where you can do calls and everything else. But I can't imagine being forced to live in one location. I mean, at this point, you've been able to do this for a couple of years now. Can you imagine somebody saying, hey, I'm going to make you go back to Utah and you can't leave or else you can't make money? Can you imagine how depressing that sounds?
It's very depressing. And even I notice when I'm in Utah too long, I just really crave, playa or something different. Totally. There are many reasons for that, but yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, I want to talk about a couple of things. Number one is you made a cool post in Digital Landlords. Did you make that? You didn't make that same post inside of the free group, I don't think, but you made a really cool post. And what I loved about it is in the post, she just talked about how far she's come. She talked about like, hey, there's been doubts. There's been these times when I didn't think I was going to be able to make it happen. And, you know, I finally pulled it off. So I want to talk about that a little bit. And the reason why is because you've been grinding away at this for years. You've been trying to make this work for years. You aren't, and I'm the same way, by the way. You're not one of those people who got into it last week and you're magically at, you know, $35,000 in a year. Shout out to Ryan Dalton, I didn't do that either. It's amazing, but it took me 6 years, right? It took me 7 years to get here. It took me 4.5 to really figure it out. But what's so funny, Marie, and you agree with me, is like, I just had somebody text me this like this week. They're like, hey, you know, they literally said, I'm getting my ass kicked with this business model and it's just not working for me. And I said, oh, that's interesting. How long have you been doing it? Like, well, I started in December. And I'm like, am I supposed to, like, what do you want me to say back to that? You started in December? You know what I mean? It's like, for those of us that have been grinding away for years, like I have zero sympathy. What did you expect? Did you expect to just like start this business model? The next month you're making millions of dollars. Your problems are all solved and there's no stress. Like, come on, dude. Well, let's talk about that for a second, Marie, because the people like you and I that actually have to figure it out. I'm not the smartest dude. I can't go and figure out how to get to $35,000 a year. It took me years to figure this out. How do you not give up? How do you keep grinding when you're 4 years into it and you're like, man, maybe this isn't the model. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Talk about that for a second, because I know you've had those doubts. I had those doubts. And I know people listening to this have had those doubts. Let's talk about it.
I mean, the way I got through it is I want it so bad. You know, I've tasted the laptop lifestyle. I spent 3 years just traveling to different countries. It was mostly on savings. I was also doing some photography at the time. So I knew what that felt like. I knew how much joy it brought me. And that's what I wanted for my life. You know, I just, and seeing everybody else's success, you know, everything they were posting. And also a big factor was the fact that, you know, you had so much debt when you started. I've also accumulated some debt. And to me, that's super scary. But seeing, you know, that you were able to push through it and so many people were able to push through it, you know, I was like, you know, just trust myself. I got to trust that I'm not any different. I might feel like I have some curse or something, but logically, I'm no different than anybody else doing this. And if I just take those actions again, and again, that's also being consistent, you know, every single day, taking some actions, moving the needle forward, you know, keeping your goals in mind, all of that together just really helped me to get through those tough times where, you know, I would just worry, like, I'm like, what happens if I have to like go home, move back to Utah, get a job, all of this stuff that I really didn't want to do. And along with that comes mindset. You know, I had to switch my mindset to say like, no, why would I think that any of these negative things or, you know, less than optimal things are going to happen for me? And just getting rid of all of that, getting rid of the worry, getting rid of these like what if thoughts, you know, thinking about jobs, it's not serving me. And so I try to really, when I catch myself doing that, I try to stop and think like, no, you know, what is the best outcome? What do I want? What do I see happening in my life? And, you know, up until this point, like, you know, like the other day in one of your lives, you were talking about, you know, your perfect day, and having that and seeing those things come to fruition is like the ultimate motivation. You know, I had several of those things come to fruition before, you know, my kind of, I would call this a big breakthrough moment. You know, I was already seeing those things happen. And again, that gives me more fuel, more motivation to just like continue on. You know, I have been feeling for about the last 6 months that I was just on the verge. Like, if I just keep doing this and keep giving it my all, that I'll get there. And I feel like I finally am in a place where I can take a breath, and I'm like, oh, I'm really doing it now.
Oh, it's awesome when you see something that you've been trying so hard to do and it finally actually come. I think it makes it more sweet. What I was thinking the whole time you were just talking was, is that something that you can teach to people? I call this stick-to-itiveness, right? Because I think the problem with so many people, at least that I've seen so far, and watching people come through the free group, watching people take the free training, watching people comment on YouTube, watching people come through the program, watching people in other programs that I've been a part of, is so many people have never done something hard and they've never finished anything. They don't know how to finish, and they've never been held accountable. And so they don't know what it's like. They don't know how to persevere. They don't know how to push through the hard time. Do you think that's something that can be taught, or it's something that you've either learned by the time you're 18 to 20 years old, or you've either learned it or not? I don't know the answer to that, because, I hope for my kids that I teach them that when you say you're going to do something, you do it. And when you commit to doing something, you do it. Like, I know my parents, if I started a sport and I hated it and I just absolutely loathed the team and the coach or whatever, they were like, you're finishing the season. You're doing it because you started. We don't quit. I don't think most people have that. I think a lot of them, the second it gets hard, they quit, but this is the kicker, is they blame everybody else around them besides them, right? It's oh, now rank and rent saturated. Oh, ads are being different. They used to work better than they do now. Oh, I'm this person. I don't speak English as a first language, or I live out of the country, or insert whatever BS excuse, and that's what they give. Do you think it's something that can be taught?
Definitely. I mean, especially just through the example of others, like surrounding yourself with people who have that will help you to see what actions they're taking and how they're getting through it. I think that's probably the best way for people to teach it. I mean, I can say from experience, when I was younger, I didn't have any of that. Like I mentioned that I had traveled for a few years before. I tried all kinds of online programs and things to make money, and I just never stuck with any of them long enough to see results. And I was like, oh, that didn't work. Oh, my first try, that didn't work. And, so many things had to happen, along from then to now for me to actually stick with something. And I think, again, a lot of that is just seeing so many case studies, seeing so many successful people, and also seeing how beneficial the end result is. It has definitely a lot more upside than any of the other things that I've tried. So that helps with the motivation as well.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, because if you were in a program or you were trying some new business model and nobody in that program or that group was having success, I can see how it would be easy to go into a wormhole and go, man, this maybe just isn't a good business model, right? The problem with this one, guys, the problem with you being in this group, being on the YouTube channel, or being a part of this community, we have literally, I'm not exaggerating here, hundreds of case studies, hundreds of people. We have people that are from other countries that are speaking English as a second language. We have people that are single moms, single dads, 9-to-5ers. We have people that are blind. Justin Holland, he can't even, he has no sight, and he's closing deals. People that have, sicknesses and like, it's the craziest thing. And it's like, there's just no excuse. When I see that, when I see people that succeed, that's all that I need. And I know that, like, you and I have come from some similar groups. And when I was coming up, trying to get to 100K, I didn't know anyone that had made 100K a month. You know what I mean? So I knew that the model worked, but I didn't know how high I could scale it, because I didn't personally know anybody that was even making money in the model, except for just selling the program. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. So for everyone listening right here, we have hundreds of people that are good examples, and me that's done over 100K a month for I don't know how many months, that you can look at and go, okay, it is possible. Yeah. Okay. Give me like 30 minutes. Idea. Yeah. With the condo. Yeah. Sorry, internet guy. Okay, go ahead, Marie. But anyway, sorry, just a little bit of a rant. I totally agree with you on that. It's like, I don't know what else people need. It's the model's there. It's been proven. How many people are making money? How many people from different backgrounds are making money? And then somebody has the freaking the gall to come to me and go, yeah, it's just not going to work for me. I'm like, dude, I'm just not going to believe your story, man. You know what I mean? Like, we all have sob stories, Marie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you just have to put in the work.
That's it.
I mean, you're not going to get there without the work. And I think that's why most people give up, is they go, oh, I have to think. And this isn't just going to be a straight, I do this and I get this. It's, there's ups and downs. And some days you're fired up, and then the next day you could just feel like crap and not want to get out of bed. And you just have to do it, or you don't do it. It won't happen,
Am I crazy for laughing at people that message me and say, hey, I've been doing this for 3 months and they're trying to give up? Like, what business, on what planet do you come from where you think that you're going to do something for 3 months and you should be making thousands of dollars? Like, I can't wrap my head around it. I think the problem is we don't have any context. Most people have never started a business. They don't know what it costs to go start a software startup, right? Sink 150K into it, walk out negative 60K plus the 150 that you spent to live and the whole day. People have never started a brick and mortar. People don't know what like going to a bank and getting a loan is. They just think, oh man, I can just watch a YouTube video. I could go in this free group and I can't believe I'm not making $10,000 a month in 30 days. It's like, what kind of clown world have we found ourselves in, Marie? Tell me.
I don't know. I mean, even though it took me so long to get where I am, and it's not even that much, to me, living in Mexico, it's amazing, but even with what I have now, I feel like it's crazy that I can achieve that even in 3 years of just like self-teaching, doing it on my own, and then your program, it's accelerated all of that. And still it's like, okay, well, this is just the beginning. And so to me, I don't know, it seems crazy that you would just expect that to happen so quickly and not try for longer. When you see what people are making and for what it is that you have to do. I mean,
let's not forget you're sitting by a pool in Mexico and I'm sitting under the AC in West Africa in a beautiful apartment overlooking the city. Like, guys, we're not out there beating rocks. We're not out there shoveling sand. We're not out there freaking doing crazy stuff on the streets trying to make ends meet. Like, we can work from our computer, guys. I think that there's no context. Anyway, I sound like my grandpa or my dad. I'm like, oh, you guys don't know hard work. But like, I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying, let's just put this in the context of like what people don't understand. And I know that like for you, who else was I just barely talking to? Last week, Ryan Marin. Guys, what you don't realize is everybody thinks that because it took you 6 months to get your first deal or 3 months to get your first deal, or heaven forbid, a year to go in the positive, into the green, that it's going to take you another year to get the next deal. And by the time I get to 10,000, I'm going to be like, what we don't understand is that once business picks up, it's like you're pushing a boulder and it's not budging and you might be pushing for 5 days or a month straight and you move it an inch, but the second inch you move it in half the time, and then the third inch, and before you know it, because of the momentum and because of the things that you're learning, with very little effort, that boulder continues to pick up speed. It continues to pick up speed. I would have never guessed in December of 2019, I was 8 months away from making $100,000 a month, and I was this close to quitting. All the success, there's that stupid story, I think it's in Think and Grow Rich, that about the 3 feet from gold, right? And I know you guys have all heard this. The guy has the land and he's digging. I don't know how many years, how many millions of dollars, whatever. And he's like, there's no gold here. He's gotten very little gold, and he sells the land. And somebody came up and somehow had some inside information, knew that there was definitely gold on that plot, bought the land, and whatever, very soon after, literally the guy was 3 feet from a gold mine. I was 3 feet from a gold mine. I was 8 months from a gold mine. Marie, you're just getting into your gold mine. Ryan last week, he spent a couple years getting to his gold mine, and then he's scaled rapidly. He's gone from 8 to 10 to double that in less than a year. So I just think people forget that it's not linear. Just because it took you a month or 6 months to get your first deal, it's not going to take you that long to get your second, and it's not going to take you that long to get to 10K. You just got to keep putting in the reps, and then you'll have that breakthrough and you'll watch yourself shoot up. And I know for you were like, you even said it earlier. You said you felt so close, but just couldn't quite figure it out. And the way that you're speaking right now, the posts you're making, I feel like you're there, and now you finally found it and you're just breaking it open right now. So I'm excited to see where you're going to be in 6 months.
No, me too, for sure.
I love it.
Yeah. To speak on that, if I could speak on that for just
Please.
a moment, I feel like so much of that, once you get your first deal, you get that momentum, but also when you start getting more deals, you see better things that people can't teach you. The things, the small, I don't know, the way that you're speaking to business owners, the things they're saying to you, the flags that might not be so obvious right at first when you're starting to do this. But as you go on, you gain all these little bits of information that aren't, just something that can be taught in a program. So I feel like that's a big key. Again, with taking action. You
can you imagine? We always joke about this. Like when me and my wife first got married, she's like, there's like all these things that we're experiencing, like not having money, like trying to get along with each other, trying to go to college while having a job, trying to like pay a house payment or get a bank loan. Like none of this stuff was taught in school. Then you start a business and you're like, dude, even if the stuff was taught in school, it wouldn't matter, because until you experience it, until you get punched in the face, until you pick up the phone, you get yourself jacked up, you're terrified of the phone, you get yourself all jacked up to call, you call, the first guy's an absolute dick, and you're like, oh man, you go back into like, man, am I cut out for this mode? You can't, nothing can prepare you for that. But going back to what I said a couple of weeks ago, for those of us that are crazy enough to take this path, for those of us that are crazy enough to just get up early, to stay up late, to work extra hours, to work 60 hours instead of 40, because eventually we'll be free, we're the ones that get the lion's share of the results. So I'm okay if it takes me 10 years, even though I hope it takes me a lot less. You know what I mean? So it's all about just instead of saying, hey, I'm going to do this until, I'm going to do this for a month and see how it goes. I'm going to do this for 6 months and see how it goes. Why don't you just say you're going to do this until it works? You know what I mean? Okay, this is one of the points I want to hit on. This is something no one wants to talk about. This is something that's very real. And I know everyone's going to appreciate this, that can relate. You're a woman. You're in a male-dominated industry in the sense that most of these business owners you're talking to are men, are contractor type. And I don't know if it's the case with you. I know it's the case with a lot of women. A lot of them don't want to admit it. A lot of them are willing to admit it. There is some kind of weird unspoken thing of like, I don't know if I'm qualified to do it, or if I can do this because I'm a woman. I think it's the opposite. You guys have heard me say this before. I think you guys have an unfair advantage because by nature, you're a pattern interrupt. But did you have any of that getting into this? Speak to any women that will be listening to this or that are listening to this. Did you have any of that like inadequacy that you felt when you got into this, to be on, oh, I'm a woman type of a thing? I certainly don't agree with it, but I know that that's a thing.
Maybe a little bit. I wouldn't say it was so much that I'm a woman, it's more that I had a lot of insecurity just about talking to contractors, people who are very different from me. You know, they have very different lifestyles usually. So trying to figure out the best way.
You mean Ford truck and the cowboy hat and the Copenhagen in the glove box?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So, you know, just trying to be able to connect and build rapport with that type of person. Yeah, I was worried about that. But, you know, like I said, now that I've done it, and also I can identify better, you know, who is going to be better to work with. You know, that is more what I faced, as opposed to worrying about like being a woman. Like there's a little bit of that, and you do wonder. But I mean, I really can't say for sure because I've never experienced being a man. So to say there was a lot of difference there.
That's a good point. That is a good point. Well, I just want to say this. Some of the best hires I've ever had in sales, this is door knocking, this is whatever, are women. And I think some people think that I say that just because I'm talking to a woman. I'll say this when it's just a group of dudes. You find a badass woman that is willing to pick up the phone and has some thick skin, that's willing to say the things that need to be said. And you got a dangerous specimen on your hand. You got a killer on your hand. And I don't know why people don't understand this. If you guys are looking to hire a setter or a salesperson, start looking for a lady. I'm telling you right now, that's been my best success. And I know that, well, you'd have to agree with me on that, because you guys just have some kind of way that people just can't say no to you as easily to us as us. I swear there's something there.
Yeah, maybe so.
I don't think it's that. I think it's because I think it's because they're so used to the classic salesman man knocking on the door or calling them on the phone. That's like, oh, this is different, right? It's a pattern interrupt. It's you're zigging while they're zagging, and it catches them off guard, and it's intriguing because you're coming in different. So anyway, I'm just giving a little bit of a plug for anyone that's out there that might be, and it sounds like that wasn't really a big deal for you, but I do know that is common with women. That should not even be a concern. That, if anything, that should be something you're excited about, because it's going to make you different than everybody else. You're not just another marketer calling to do the same things as everybody else. You have something that's different just by opening your mouth. So anyway, I just wanted to touch on that really briefly. Amazing. What's the goal for you? Like, is there a certain revenue number? Is there, you want to get your business completely automated and outsourced so you can just continue to travel? Like, what's the end goal for you, Marie?
I mean, the ultimate end goal, I don't know, just ultimate freedom. So yeah, whether that's being able to fully automate and step away. I mean, I think that would be good. I do see myself probably not wanting to be like fully in the business in the future and have other projects. I would like to get back into photography someday and do it as more of a passionate hobby, you know, than as a source of income. So there's that, and yeah, there's a thing, you know, more remote places. There's a lot of content. But yeah, and then in the short term, you know, I would like to stabilize my business and have it well enough that I can step away and, you know, go off grid for a week and have everything to run in that way, you know, so I'm not.
It all
life set up at home. I figure out to places like this to work that I just can't. I don't have my Oh, internet's bad.
There we go. I can hear you now. Can you hear me? Marie, can you hear me? If you guys can hear us, let me know.
Yes.
There we go. Can you hear me, Marie?
Yeah.
Okay, you're getting a little choppy. I caught.
So I have. Yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, if you guys are on right now, let us know in the comments if you can hear me, if you can hear Marie, if you cannot hear either of us. Let us know if both of us are choppy. Holy cow. Guys, the good news is I've got the people here to install fiber right now. I sent them out the door because I didn't want this call to get interrupted. Okay, it says it's good now. Marie is breaking up, but Nick sounds good. Okay, it sounds like it might be on your end, Marie. Maybe try switching or turning it off and turning it on because it sounds like everybody can hear me. So it might be on your end, Marie. Guys, what I'm going to do really quick while she's tweaking her internet, if you guys have questions for Marie about living the laptop lifestyle, about running a business as a woman, about sales, about prospecting, about niches, about anything, now's your chance. You got a couple of minutes if you guys have a question. Again, I know the internet's not perfect. Sounds like a lot of you guys can hear me. Moza said he can hear me. He's from South Africa. What's up, Moza? If you guys have questions for Marie, let me know right now in the comments. I'm going to pepper her with a couple questions. We're going to choose a winner from the merch, and we're going to go back to making money. I'm going to shout out to Randall that says, I can teach skill, but I cannot teach will. So I throw my kids in the pool and all of a sudden they can swim. I don't know if that's a parable or if you really do that, but it's amazing that when you put people in situations, how capable they are. I love that. Marie, how you doing? Try to talk to me. Let me see if I can hear you.
So I'm just trying to join from my phone.
Okay, you sound a little bit better now. It must just
internet.
You sound a little bit better now. Can you hear me?
Okay. Well, we can continue and I'll try to get in. Yeah, you sound fine.
Okay, awesome. Well, here's what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look up, I'm gonna open Instagram really quick. I'm gonna see if anybody, I'm gonna see I'm gonna choose the winner of the merch. And while I'm doing that, I'm gonna see if there's any questions that pop up. If not, we're gonna end this thing, guys. This should be the last week we have to deal with internet issues. We're downloading or we're doing fiber today. Okay. This should be the last week. I'll tell you guys the story next week of how I got fiber here. But I don't want to tell you because they're still here and they're not going to love what I say. Moza says it's important to love what you progress. What the hell? Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah. How's that?
Much better. Okay, there we go.
Oh, one second. Gotta turn back my audio. It's so sunny.
No, you're good. Okay, this is much better. I can hear you great. Randall says, question for Marie. What are some of the objections business owners are giving you on the closing call, if any?
I mean, obviously the biggest one is price.
Okay. And Randall said his follow-up question is, how do you overcome it? What are you doing to overcome that objection is his second follow-up question.
So I'm not great at this one. I mean, for price, I just try to use the lead value calculator and, go back and show them what a great value that they're getting. And actually this happened in the last deal that I ended up closing. The one that I posted about is the the main concern at the end of the call was price. The guy was using Home Advisor. He liked that he could turn it on and off, and he was only paying them $600 to $700 a month. So he thought, when I asked him for $1,500, that was too much. And he said, well, if you can come down to the same price, maybe I think about it. And I was like, well, I really can't do that. These leads are a lot more valuable than Home Advisor. And it's really just too low. It really wouldn't even cover my cost of ads. I didn't tell him about the ad part, but that's what I'm thinking, right? So, but then what happened, as we got off the call, I actually hooked somebody else, ran them through the process. I thought that the guy that I had hooked he was an awesome to work with. I thought he was going to be the one, and he stood me up for the Zoom. And so I was kind of bummed about that, ready to get another hook. And then this first guy texted me and said, could you do $1,000 a month for 3 months? So he definitely saw the value. I think the biggest issue was trust. And we ended up negotiating, and I closed the deal. So
price. So guys, price is an interesting one, because here's a good example. I think it's probably a combination. So what Marie is saying is that, the person that she's talking to, maybe they were paying for Angie's Leads or Home Advisor, and those services that you can turn them on and off, right? And it's only $500 a month. And that's fine and dandy. But guys, we're not Home Advisor, nor are we trying to compare ourselves to Home Advisor. But here's what I would have. This is the scenario I'd like to give you. If I was trying to pitch, let me take someone from the comments here. If I was trying to pitch Randall, or let's say Randall owned a concrete company, and I said, Randall, it's $1,500 per month, and you get all my concrete leads, blah, 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 right? And he goes, oh yeah, that's way too expensive. I can't imagine paying that. I am literally going to slap Randall across the face with the next few words that I say. And I'm going to look at him, and I'm going to act. I'm going to go, Randall, did you miss what I said? Are you not hearing what I'm saying? Look at the numbers. Even you told me you close at 50%. I put it at 25. You told me your profit margin is this. I put it lower. I think I can get you more leads than this, but I'm going to say 12. Even at that, Randall, I'm going to 2x your money on $1,500. So either you need to go get your hearing checked, or I missed something. Please enlighten me, right? Because I'm so sold, me personally, because I've seen so many people, business owners, that have taken my leads and made thousands and thousands of dollars, that I never get priced that objection. So my point here is this. Sometimes, especially when we're starting out, or especially like, this is a great example. Maybe you're making between 5 and 10K. Maybe you haven't made any money from this business model yet. Maybe you're 16, 17, 18 years old, 19, 20 years old watching this video. And to you, spending $2,000 a month is a lot. What you guys have to remember, guys, business owners have bills. Concrete guys stroke checks all day long. They pay their employees thousands of dollars. They pay for the product. They pay for the trucks. They pay for the equipment. They pay for the damage, they pay insurance. Sometimes, because we've never run a brick and mortar business, because we've never run a business, or because we're young, or because we aren't making $100,000 a month or $50,000 a month, we believe these guys when they say it's too expensive. But if we actually think about it, and we're actually sold and believe that our leads are going to do the trick, then when people said it's too expensive, you would look at them and be like, dude, what did you not hear me? What do you mean it's too expensive? I just showed you it's going to double. It's going to pay for itself and 2x. Randall, if I had a machine, you could put $1 and it spit 2 back out. How many dollars would you put in there? Well, unlimited. Exactly. Let's do this deal. Like, that's the kind of mentality. So what I'm getting at with this, Marie, is it's a little bit of coaching. It is an evolution, right? As you get more deals, you're going to get more confident. As you get more confident, you're going to get more bold. As you get more bold, you're going to start charging more sums of money, and it's going to evolve. But when you start, it is a little scary. You say $2,000 a month, you say $2,500 a month, and you're sitting there going, that's kind of a lot of money. That would do a lot. That's a big amount of money. But the truth of the matter is, It's not that much money, especially for these business owners. So anyway, excellent question. Let me do one more question really quick. Let's see. Here's an interesting question from Mr. Luna himself. Question for Marie. How do you get started if you don't have the money for the program? Let's see what your answer to that is.
Credit cards.
There you go. Weird. They have these
That's
things
what I did.
Yes.
Wow.
And I wanted to say that because I think you pronounce it Dione. He doesn't live in Mexico, but he's from Mexico originally, living in Kansas. Guys, I just wanted to put you on the spot a little bit. You do not need to be in the program to make money. Like, I just want to clarify that. Obviously, that is how the shortest way, the quickest way, that's the blueprint. That's how you save time. That's how you buy time. But I don't want you guys to, I'm not the guy that has the carrot and says, hey, you got to come over here. You can make money. You can take information from this group and go make money. We just have to be careful because a lot of people, they come in here, they watch one video and go, oh my gosh, Nick says to run ads. They go put up ads. $5,000 later, they're in my DMs. They're on a comment going, oh, ads don't work. Can anybody help me? It's like, bro, no one's going to help you. I put in the $1.4 million to learn ads, $1.24 million. And 6 years, you think I'm just going to drop my bombs on you? Go put in 6 years and 1.2 million, and we'll talk. Like, if you're not going to pay for the knowledge, you're going to have to take the lickings. You're going to have to pay the piper. It's just one of the laws of the universe. So Randall says, sell your Xbox and get a second job at Uber. Amen, brother. Amen. Moza has some really good comments. I just want to read really quick. He says, by the way, I met Moza when I lived here in Sierra Leone 10 years ago, just for the record. Moza's from South Africa, a good friend of mine. He says, he's seen me do this for a while. What I've observed about you. So for me, totally believe in the model. One just needs to find their own niche. Otherwise, you end up selling drugs, running after money purely. And then he says, it's important being in an area of specialty, focal point on a spot. Just like a magnifying glass, while it's good to have a broad view, you only burn a hole when you concentrate your light into a small focal point. That's what a niche is for me. That small point focus that makes it. That's exactly true. Guys, when you get into this model and you're trying 100 different niches, you're going to find it's very difficult to scale. When you are getting into business and you have 15 different side hustles, it's very hard to scale. When you are trying to build a relationship and you have 15 different relationships, it's hard to make one relationship work. That's with friends, that's in more intimate relationships. These things you have to focus. He's hitting it on the head. So anyway, Marie, give us some closing words. Give us some advice for somebody who's maybe they're 2 months in, maybe they're 4 months in, maybe they're 2 years in, maybe they're whatever. They feel like they're in that dead zone of, I've been doing this. I've been pushing against the boulder. I've been pushed against the wall. It's not budging. It's not moving. Is this the right model? I feel like giving up. What's your advice for that person? Because I know you've experienced it.
Get really honest with yourself.
How? What do you mean?
You have to really examine your thoughts, examine where your time is going, and examine your plan. You have to know where you want to go in order to get there. Otherwise, you're just going to be going here and there, and you're like, I never got there. But you have to make a clear plan where you want to go. How fast do you want to get there? How fast can you get there? Do you have obligations that are going to be difficult to overcome? How are you going to overcome those obligations? And how am I going to put myself in the best position to make things easier for me? One reason that I live where I do in the part of the city here that I do is it makes it so much easier for me to live a healthy lifestyle. It makes it really easy for me to walk everywhere. I don't have to have a car. It makes it easy for me to access fresh, healthy food. It makes it easy for me to access things like ice baths, other things that in other places I wouldn't have access to. So because they're so easy, I'm more likely to do them. And now I'm building the life that I want because I've created this, this system, this place where I can get everything that I need with minimal effort And all of that effort is going into my business. So it's just about that plan and fine tuning along the way.
I love that. And I will tell you, I'm not perfect at it, but if you look at my wall over here, I've got my next 90 days. I've got Q2. I've got the rest of my year, but I've got Q2 on my wall taped up. What I need to hit, what I need to do. I've got my map. I know exactly what I want to go to. I know exactly what I need to do on the wall. Every morning, I read what I call my morning formula, and I read in 10 years. It's me reading where I'm at. It's like I'm 42 years old. It's 2033, and it's where I'm at in my life, how much money I'm making, what things that I possess, what good I'm doing. And like you said, I think a lot of times we just go, yeah, I want to make money. But have you ever stopped, taken a piece of paper, taken a pen, turned off your phone, turned off the internet, gone somewhere that is refreshing, somewhere that's quiet and makes you feel in a creative space, and really ask yourself, like, what do you want? Why do you want it? And how am I going to get there? And then again, this comes to circling back full circle from how I started the call. All you have to do once you have the map is you just have to execute, and that's it. And some days that's very difficult to do because you don't feel like it. And some days it's a breeze and you're like, man, this is easy, but you have to just do the map. So anyway, phenomenal. Great advice. Great parting words. Winner of the merch is none other than Mr. Daniel Kong himself. Wait. Do we might have another, someone that's trying to compete here. Nope. Okay. Daniel Kong, that is exactly who I chose. You are the winner of the merchandise, my friend. Please message Ashley. She will get it shipped out to you. Marie Johnson, enjoy Mexico. I will tell you that before I moved to Africa, I had a trip already booked. Well, my wife did, to Cancun, at a resort. And then we decided to do this. So we have a trip paid for that we're going to have to redeem at some point. So when I come out, I will definitely link up with you, and we'll have to run some sales calls or something like that.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Likewise, if I'm in Sierra Leone, I'll hit you up.
I think there's probably a better chance of me seeing you there. However, I will be here and waiting if you choose to come. Thank you for jumping on. I know your time is valuable, so thank you very much. Let's go crank it up. I appreciate it, and I love what you're doing, and especially the inspiration you're giving all the ladies out there. Guys, this is not just a male industry, although I know a lot of the faces you see. It doesn't matter who you are. The business owners do not care the color of your skin, the accent of your of whatever, of how you speak. If you're a man or you're a woman, they want results and they want to make money. And if you can provide that, you will continue to scale your business. That's all I got. Thanks, Marie.